Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor and today is another chit chat get ready with me, and I'm going to tell you all about my college experience. It is Saturday, March 9th, and I really want to get out of the house for a little bit. It is such a beautiful day and I just really want to edit some videos at a coffee shop or maybe just read a little bit. I also have to I have to go to Joann's because I'm out of yarn. Well, I'm almost out of yarn for a skirt I'm making for an outfit for a concert that I'm going to next weekend. They actually have it in stock, so I need to go get it while it's there. I made a crop top and I'm making a little micro mini tutu skirt to go with it because me and my best friend are going to New Orleans for St. Patrick's Day and we're going to a rave on Friday night. Oh, I'm so excited. But I was kind of oh, I don't need to dress up. I'm just gonna go run some errands. And then I was no, you want to do that? Let's make it fun. So, college. So I graduated in 2021 and I have kind of just been living adult life since, trying to kind of figure out what life is outside of college and stuff. And it can be kind of difficult. I feel like maybe we don't talk about that as much. I know I've mentioned it on other kind of get ready with me's. So I went to college right out of high school, right after I graduated. And I actually was going for marine biology. I wanted to be a marine biologist since I was 9 years old. My, hero, we can say, was Dr. Robert Ballard, the man who found the shipwreck of the Titanic. And I don't know what it was. We did a unit on the Titanic when I was in 4th grade in elementary school, and I just that story really resonated with me for some reason. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And so I was I'm gonna be a marine biologist just like Dr. Robert Ballard. And I took a lot of science courses and stuff, but science has never been my strong suit. I've always loved it a lot. I loved biology, but I wasn't good at it. Which, I don't know, I think in high school, it's, at least for me, if I just studied a little bit extra, I was oh yeah, okay, it's good. I'm naturally pretty smart, but when it comes to math and science and stuff, it's just it's not my strong suit. I've always been someone who loves reading. I love writing. I can write a paper like that. Those are always the easy classes for me in school. And so I applied to a college called Carroll University. It's a small private school in Waukesha, Wisconsin. And so Waukesha is about 45 minutes south of Milwaukee. So it's technically considered a suburb of Milwaukee. And I had such a hard time my freshman year of college, and I know that people kind of talk about how hard it is for some people, but I feel we don't talk about it enough, because I remember seeing a lot of stuff, I watched every YouTube video I could find about college, about making friends, a little bit about sorority stuff, because I did rush a sorority my freshman year. And I was just I was so ready to get out of my hometown, to just see a different place was I'd only ever lived in my hometown, and I was just so excited. And I had a really good roommate. Her and I just hit it off right away. But I really struggled as a student. I'm not a dumb person, but as I said before, my strong suits are not the sciences, and I wanted to go into the sciences. And one thing that I just am also not good at is studying. I'm not good at it. I've never really been good at it. I've always been good at giving speeches and papers and talking. I suck at taking tests. And so I super struggled my freshman year of college. And also, like 3 weeks into being at this college, I was like, I don't think this is the place for me. And that was probably one of the toughest experiences of my life. It led to like so much confusion because I was already there, and like I did everything. I joined the dance club, I joined the theater club, I rushed a sorority, as I said, I had a music scholarship. Like literally everything was so set up for me to like have the best time and like make so many friends and all this stuff. And I just like was struggling so hard. I just like couldn't do it. And I realized that like being in a place where, so I grew up not like fully involved in like the agriculture world, but like kind of. I mean, I was in FFA and 4-H. I raised rabbits. I always had friends who were like more knowledgeable about that kind of stuff. And I really realized how much people like don't know about where their food comes from. And that's not their fault. That is, oh my gosh, not their fault. That's definitely like a fault on like education and school systems and just like people kind of not caring. And so being at this school, I was kind of like, I think my passion lies in agriculture. And that was, for over 9 years of my life, like 10 years of my life, I wanted to be a marine biologist. I would not hear anything different. That was all I wanted for my life. I also went on a cruise my freshman year of college with my with some of my extended family. I have a lot of cousins on this side of my family that are around my age. And so my aunt and uncles like gifted me a cruise that we all went on together, and it was so much fun. One of the excursions that we did was scuba diving, and I couldn't do it. I was so scared. My ears were like popping like crazy. Like I just could not do it. How are you supposed to be a marine biologist and like not know how to scuba dive or like be afraid of water? Girly pop. And like I need everyone watching this to know, like I am a stubborn person. Like I would not hear otherwise. I was going to be a marine biologist. That was the only thing I wanted to do with my life. That was the only thing I was going to do. Nobody was ever going to tell me anything different. Lord knows my parents tried. And I really did struggle my freshman year not understanding, like, why aren't I fitting in? Well, the college I went to was really big in physical therapy, and I don't know if it still is, but at the time it was the #1 college in Wisconsin for nursing. And so it was really big for people to be doing this. The program that I was in, there was only around 4 or 5 people in it. And most people ended up changing their majors. It was a 2-and-2 program where you did 2 years at Carroll University, and then you transferred and did 2 years at Hawaii Pacific University, which is a private school in Hawaii. Because my dream college was actually the University of Hawaii at Manawa, but I didn't know how like student loans worked, neither did my parents really. Because like my dad went to a tech school, but I'm like the first person in my family to go to a 4-year university. So it was just like difficult. We didn't really know how like personal loans worked. We barely knew how like all those, all these different things. And so I never really, once I realized how expensive college was, I kind of gave up on my dream of like going there for college. And I don't really regret it. Do I think it would have been fun? Yeah, sure. Of course, I mean, it's Hawaii. But I think about all the things I would have missed out on in my life, and like how my life just would not be where it is now. And then think about it too. Imagine if I was out there and I realized that marine biology just wasn't for me anymore. That was already like hard enough as it was, but then think about like being so far away from my family, because my aunt and uncle, I had an aunt and uncle that actually lived in Waukesha at the time of me going to college there. And it was so nice because like I got to go hang out with my cousin on the weekends, and we would just like go bop around, and my aunt and uncle were super cool and are super cool. Not were, they are. But so like I had all these like I had this like familial support, which was so nice because I definitely needed it at the time. So after my first semester, that fall semester, I was talking with my mom and I was like, I just like can't see myself being here for 4 years. Like there's just something about it. It's not right. And I felt that right away. And it's so hard because when I did go on my college tour, I only went on one college tour. So like any advice, like don't do that. You should go on as many as you can to all the colleges around you. Even if you know you don't want to go there, I don't know, things may surprise you. But so on my winter break, so the private school I went to had a J term, so I had like a stupid long winter break my freshman year. So me and my mom went to 3 different colleges for touring. We went to University of Wisconsin, River Falls. Oh, my aunt actually went with me to University of Wisconsin-Madison for a tour there, and then I did University of Minnesota Mankato and South Dakota State University. SDSU was actually the first school that I went to for my tours, and I basically looked at my mom and I was like, this is the one. And she was like, no, we're not doing this again. So I did go on other college tours and stuff. I did really fall in love with Madison, and so I do kind of wish I had been able to spend more time there, but there's like more to the story. So I toured these other colleges. Mankato has like kind of a reputation for being a huge party school in Minnesota, and that kind of deterred me from going there, but they also just like didn't have the major I wanted. I was looking into animal science, but they don't offer animal science, so I was looking into zoology there. But I just felt like I wouldn't get as many opportunities, so like I've always said like I would do marine biology or I'd be a zookeeper. And so I thought like if I did animal science, I could still do zookeeper stuff because I had been a volunteer at the Minnesota Zoo before, and the Minnesota Zoo has a farm area where like the people who work on it, they have animal science degrees, which is pretty cool. So I just thought that like an animal science degree would be more well-rounded for me. And then UW River Falls was still like kind of small. So my first college was less than 4,000 people. It was probably about the size of, it was only just a little bit bigger than my high school. And I graduated with like 450 people. I stuck it out through that second semester at Carroll University because I had already registered for classes. We had already paid for them. My mom was like, we are not, because I was 5 hours away from home there, and I wasn't allowed to have a car my freshman year. And so it just like all the things were like piling up. I just felt so isolated. So I decided that I was going to be transferring to SDSU, and I went back to school and I like told my friends, the very few that I had, and they weren't very excited for me, that's for sure. It just ended up being this like, it's so funny now like thinking about like what matters and what doesn't. And it's not that like it didn't matter that I was transferring, it's just like the big deal that it ended up being was just like kind of stupid. Because I had told some people in confidence, I was like, hey, like I'm not ready to like tell everyone this, but like I am doing this, and then that person like went and told everybody. And I was like, hey, that's like not cool. Like that was super annoying. Oh, and I should say part of the reason why I chose SDSU was because they had my sorority chapter there. So I really enjoyed being in sorority. It was such like a good experience for me. I know not everybody has those experiences. I don't want to discount people who have had those bad experiences. I'm just telling you this is my experience. It was important to me. So I transferred to SDSU for the fall semester of 2017. And right away, it was just such a different experience. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I was so popular and I made friends right away and da-da-da. That's not true. That would be such a bold-faced lie. I've always kind of struggled making friends. I'm a little bit of an oddball person, and apparently I can come off as like kind of cold sometimes. I don't mean to. Apparently I've got really bad RBF as well, but I really like talking to people individually. Sometimes I'm not always good in groups because I get kind of scared in group situations sometimes, but I was in my sorority and I really liked it. I got my littles, who are still my friends to this day. I love them both very, very much. But I went in studying animal science. And so with that, I had to take chemistry. And so I decided to do animal science with an emphasis in industry, because doing the animal science degree, you either had to pick business or science, and science was the pre-vet route. And I originally thought I wanted to be a nutritionist, because my mom was like, what are you going to do with animal science? Like, not in like a bad way, like, because my family's very agriculture focused, but it was like, what are you going to do? Fair question. And I think it's so hard at 18, 19, even 20 years old. You ask people what they want to do. I didn't know anything about what was offered and, you know, what kind of opportunities were out there. So I was taking chemistry and whew, that was kicking my butt. I hated that. Hated chemistry. I also had to take Animal Science 101, which is normally a freshman level course, but obviously I was a transfer student, so had to do that. Animal Science 101, and that is kind of what it's like a weed out course for animal science students. It was very difficult, and I think if I had to go back now and do it, I feel like I'd probably do a lot better. Because, like, I just, like, did not know how to study. All throughout college, I really did struggle with studying unless I really, really, like, loved what I was doing. So I just, like, really struggled with studying. But I had a really good professor. She's a very nice woman. And I passed with a C. C's do, in fact, get college degrees. And there's, like, one course in particular throughout my college career that I always point to when I talk about why I chose to switch to agricultural communications. My sophomore year spring at SDSU, so I'm still in my first year there, I had to take a meats course. Most fun course I've ever taken. Like, holy hell, it was so much fun. I loved it. Like, we had labs on Tuesdays, and, like, you always had to come hungry to labs because we'd just be cooking the whole time. It was awesome. The professor, he was definitely, like, a graduate level professor teaching, like, an intro to meats course. Like, he was really intense. Really fun course, though. Like I said, I thought it was so interesting, but it was very difficult. He made us do this group project where he got to choose the groups, and the groups were like 10 people each, and it was just so difficult. And he was like, you're not going to be able to all make it work. Like, that's the point. You gotta divide and conquer. You need to learn how to work on a team. Nah, 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 nah. And I was like, so it consisted of all these different moving parts for this project. And I was paired with some older people. Older as in I was a sophomore and I think they were like seniors, super seniors type thing. And we decided to do a farm to fork sort of pamphlet thing, because that was part of the project, is you had to make a pamphlet that would be at a 6th grade reading comprehension level that you could just like go and give to 6th graders that like teach them something about agriculture. They were going through the steps of, you know, we raise the animal, we treat them so well, blah, 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 blah. And then these guys go, yeah, and then say, then we slaughter it, and we do this, 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 and just like going into this great detail about how animals are euthanized for meat production. And these people kind of got kicks off the thought that they could like make people uncomfortable with this information. And I was like so disgusted with that mentality. And I was like, hey, maybe we should say like harvested. Like, I just think that's a little bit more PC. I think that it would be a lot easier on like a young mind. I have young siblings, and they were, I think my sister who's 17 now, she would have been around that age, like 6th grade. My youngest sister right now is in 6th grade. So like I have always kind of understood, you know, what children can and can't hear from that perspective, especially with like being in this sort of job line. And they basically looked at me like I was the dumbest person to ever live. They scoffed at me and told me that I was like basically babying people. And then the TA came over, and she also kind of told me I was stupid. And I was like, you people cannot be the representatives talking to people about where their food comes from, because you get sick kicks off of making people uncomfortable because you want to enrage them for whatever reason. Agriculture, I wouldn't say, is a difficult industry to be in. I mean, as a woman, it's difficult, but like overall, like, it's hard work. But how am I trying to say this? It's an industry that a lot of people don't understand, like, why things happen the way that they do, because we're about 3 generations away from a family farm right now. Less than 2% of people work in agriculture. And teaching people about where their food comes from is something that has always been, like, important to me, but that really, like, lit a fire under my butt to realize, like, wow, like, people who are not in agriculture deserve the kindness and grace to learn about where their food comes from without other people making them feel stupid. And I was just, like, so disgusted by the behavior of these people that basically that day I decided I needed to, like, kind of pivot myself. And I tell everyone this story. Like, that was the day I knew I needed to pivot into something different. And not, like, pivot away from agriculture, but I wanted to be someone who could sit down and teach people about where their food comes from in a way that doesn't make people feel stupid. Because nobody deserves to feel that way when they genuinely just, like, don't know what's going on. That is how I feel. That is my opinion. And that is why I chose to go into agricultural communications. And honestly, once I did change, I just had such a greater passion for my classes, and especially where I'm at in my life now. Like, I really do have passion for social media and content creation, and I do social media for the company I work for, and I think I might start making, like, cooking videos and stuff for them. And so it's this matter of, like, I think it's interesting how one event in our lives can really, like, change so much. And so, like, for the rest of my college career, I did Ag Comm. And then I also joined the University Programming Council, so I got to plan events for the college. And that also changed my life forever, because that brought me to my best friend. And I think that's, like, maybe I could, like, spend a whole 30 minutes talking about me and my best friend. I don't know. The reason why I tell this story is not to be like, I went to college, da 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 da. My reason for telling this story is, like, it is so difficult to know what you want to do, and it's okay if it takes a little bit longer. Like, it took me until I was like damn near 21 to know what I wanted to do, to have all the knowledge that I mean, I have more now, but, like, to have all the knowledge that I needed at that time to make a educated decision about what I wanted to do with my life. It took me until my junior year to find my best friend. And I remember sitting in the car with one of my sorority sisters when I was a freshman. She was a senior, I was a freshman, and we worked together in the biology labs, and we just, like, got along really, really well. And I remember her looking at me. I was like, I just have such a hard time with friends. Like, why is this so difficult? And she looked at me and she was like, I didn't really find my people until, like, junior year. And I was like, I gotta wait till junior year? And I did. And when I tell you that that was so worth the wait, my best friend has absolutely changed the trajectory of my life for the better. I am so glad that, like, she came into my life when she did. I love how she has, like, helped shape my life and helped me just, like, grow as a person. And I think I have helped her grow as a person, or else she probably wouldn't keep me around. But yeah, so I think I just wanted to share with you a little bit more about, like, my college experience. And I know that we mostly just talked about, like, career stuff, and I could, like, sit down and talk to you about, like, the social aspect of my college career and stuff if you are interested in that. Just leave a comment below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.